Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tradesman Experience. This is the podcast built by tradesmen for tradesmen. My name is Josh, and across the table is, of course, the handsome and ever so lovely Mr. Nate Newton. Nate, how are you, sir?
Making me blush.
You're so adorable. How was practice tonight?
It was good. The kids they're advancing rapidly, you know. I put a big focus on footwork with them because some of those kids are big, clumsy motherfuckers, you know. Like, you can tell they just had a pretty good growth spurt. And that's so, like, it's like watching a foal come right out of the womb, you know. They're stumbling around all over the place. So, like, trying to get them to have a good center of gravity, step hard, step violently, you know, violent hands. That's our big thing. When we grab a bag, we drive. And so, like, nice. They're getting it down. And, you know, I got to run them around a little bit today, put them on the sled. And it was like, hey, turn it around, go back. Turn it around, go back. Yeah. Turn it around, go back. And then they're just kind of looking at me. And I'm like, get on that fucking ball right now.
Right.
Yeah. So, it's, you know, we haven't really done any conditioning yet. I think for JV, we have to wait until summer ball for that.
Okay.
I don't know who makes these fucking rules, but we have to abide by.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's my one little area. I get to run them into the ground a little bit.
Cool.
I'm very excited to get them in pads and get them clacking.
Yeah. So this is May, last day of May right now. Mm-hmm. Remind me, when is the first game?
Shit, not till...
Is it August?
End of August. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the first week that they're back in school.
Okay.
Yeah, so
you got a full summer of practice.
Yeah. We're going to need every last bit of it. So
awesome.
Yeah. But, I mean, like I said, I think the Hoggies are they're the most active part of the field. Like, all the kids want to be out on the field, running through plays, running through drills. Like,
what's a hoggie?
Lineman.
Oh,
yeah.
I have limited exposure to sports.
Yeah, you probably didn't hang out with the Hoggies either. Yeah, I don't know if you're built for it.
In high school, I hung out with the cheerleaders. Not because they liked me, because I was built like one.
Yeah.
Thin hips.
Yeah, right.
Very lightweight.
Yes. Very throwable.
Very throwable.
Yeah. Now the Hoggies that's O-line, D-line.
Okay.
So, but dude, they're the most enthusiastic ones on the field. So I really like seeing that.
That's fun.
You know, whenever there's a drill up, the guys are like pushing each other out of the way to get out on that line, trying to earn a spot on that field. Yeah. So you know, like, I'm like, dude, I can work with this. You know, show me you got a little want, a little drive, a little hunger,
a little grit, a little desire.
We'll get something out of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. And then you can see everyone, you know, there's one or two kids that, you know, it starts getting hard and they start lollygagging. But you start seeing the other kids start grabbing them like, hey, man, let's go. Like, you know, they're looking out for each other just as much as, you know, I'm up their ass. So
I'm excited I want to come watch a game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want to come.
Well, I don't know. You got that court thing that you're not supposed to be within 200 yards of the school.
Is the football field on the school's property?
Damn it.
The away game, does that work?
Yeah. There's a Chuck E. Cheese right down the street, too, so you're double fucked. Yeah.
Whatever, Chucky.
Yeah.
Know me. So, no, I'm excited. Growing up in a kind of a, you know, varsity lights town, I enjoy watching high school football.
Right.
Don't really know what's going on the field.
It just looks like everybody's flailing to you.
Where is the ball? I have no idea. It's like trying to watch a hockey puck with a pair of binoculars. To me, it's fucking impossible.
Yeah.
But there's something about the environment.
Yeah.
Of high school
electric.
Football.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Yeah.
And you get to listen to everybody in the stands yell at the coach about what he's doing wrong.
Yeah, they love that.
Yeah. Should have passed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, you can volunteer for this shit, right? You can come out and help us anytime you want.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But no, that's I'm looking forward to it. Like you said, something about high school football. It's just enjoyable.
Yeah. Well, there's something about those kids being out in front of their peers and in this arena of competition, you know, like the kids get fucking pumped on it. I mean,
do they still wear their jerseys on game days?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They still strut around.
So
yeah, that's right. I play football.
Because I came from probably the last generation of Letterman jackets and class rings.
No. I mean, we had them when I was in.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was, 15, 20 years after you? Something like that.
Mine were denim jacket, pop collars, and Firebirds. Smokey and the Bandit shit.
I mean, I never got a class ring or a letter. I mean, I got my letter for playing all 4 years, but
I had a Letterman jacket with no letters.
just one of the cool kids.
Just wanted a jacket, man. I wish I was telling you a lie.
Maybe you should just shit and tell people that story.
So what I did is I got the graduation year. I got that patch.
Yeah.
99.
Yeah. Did you bedazzle all the way around it?
No bedazzle.
It was made out of burlap and leather.
That's right. Yeah, we made our own. Yeah. Did what we could, but no, I didn't have any letters on it, and because the debatable activity that I did, and I say debatable, some people don't call it a sport. Swimming was I mean, it's more dangerous than golf, and they call golf a sport. Well, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'll take a notch above golf.
Right.
The school didn't really recognize it. And
that's kind of dumb.
It was part of the school program, but it wasn't doted on. It wasn't really recognized.
Right.
It was football first, basketball, then baseball, then the girls' sports, then Poms, that we have what we called Indianettes, and then the cheerleaders, 2 different squads. And I don't know if we had a golf and then swimming.
Damn.
True story.
Like you're the only one that's literally fighting survival the entire time you're doing your
there was nothing below us in
not even Powder Puff.
Nothing below us in the pole of importance at our school. So,
well, you picked the right one.
Yeah, there's not a lot of competition. I didn't have I earned a spot pretty quick.
Right. Well, you showed up.
Yeah,
you're hired.
I mean, here's a great synopsis of my sports history. A lot of people say, "Oh man, I didn't." I got picked last, right? I didn't get picked at all.
Yeah.
So when you would line up and then they would pick their teams. Usually there was me and like 2 other kids left, and they would go, "All right, we've got enough."
Yeah.
So that's my athletic background.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Okay. Very, very true story.
Yeah.
It's probably why I'm a borderline psychopath now. Right. So all of this dark energy from not getting picked.
Yeah, this is like childhood trauma on display for you people.
Holy shit. So, all right, switch gears a little bit. Talk about the workshop. And one of the things that I try to encourage people to do is try something long enough to collect data so you can course correct. If it's disastrous day one, abort mission and then start over. The workshop, 3 months of the workshop, I never had a single person sign up. And okay, good.
Yeah. Well, now we know.
Now we know.
There was something not appealing about it.
Absolutely. So I'm rebuilding it. It's going to get shelved until the first of the year. But it's going to come back out 2024 as a 6-month course.
Oh, shit.
So you sign up because the online group coaching is very effective and very popular. So it's going to be online group coaching. You sign up, it's going to be 6 months long. And to give you an idea of what that's going to look like, month 1 is going to be basically like business 101 and infrastructure framework.
Right.
Month 2 is going to be knowing your numbers. Month 3 will be something like sales and marketing. Month 4 will be interviewing, hiring, and onboarding. Month 5 will be probably like leadership, and then 6 is going to be systems and implementation.
So are you meeting once a month?
No, so there's going to be several meetings throughout the month.
Okay.
There'll be a couple webinars. There'll be a couple like live coaching Q&A sessions. But it's going to be interactive. There's going to be something every week of the month.
Sounds like a great tool for somebody starting out.
It is.
Yeah.
And I agree with you, but there's also a lot of businesses that don't have any framework.
Yeah, you know what? As you started to say that, I'm like, when we were 2 years in, we could have used it.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's how I'm going to rebuild the workshop, to launch it into a 6-month course. So basically, I'm looking at what a lot of these companies are doing with these 12-month courses, and I'm going to compress it into 6.
Nice.
To me, 12 months is a little bit long, probably because of my impatience about things, but so I want to do it in 6 months.
Yeah, I mean, that does seem like kind of a drag on, Like, I feel like because of the training that you provide, 6 months is enough for you to get enough information to start implementing shit. You don't need 12 months of that shit. They don't need to be babysat through this whole.
And I don't want them to look at the program and go, man, I can't wait until we get into sales and marketing. And they look at it, and that's month 7.
Right.
They've got to wait that long. I want you to be able to have everything within 6 months. At least have the framework. There's obviously going to be homework. And you can, after 6 months, you can change the operation of your business. You're going to be confident in launching or starting a business. And the other part that I want to build out of it is the community aspect.
Yeah.
You're going to be in there with people that are, regardless of how long they've been in business, they're in a similar situation as you. So you can cross-communicate, exchange contact information. And now you have other people that you already know are like-minded.
Yeah.
That are facing similar issues and situations and successes that you can collaborate with.
Right. So would you say that if somebody is looking to start a business, would it be more advantageous for them to go through that course prior to starting the business? Or would you say that you more or less want to use it while you're in the shit?
So I'm going to give you 2 answers. One is going to be a salesy answer, and then I'll give you the real answer. The salesy answer is towards the end of June, I'm launching a free webinar on Business 101.
Okay.
So they need to attend the free webinar. June, July, I've got some things going on in the back end right now that I don't understand. But so the second answer is yes, if they're thinking about starting a business, absolutely they need to be involved. If they have a company, the target's probably going to be with that program, somebody that's been in business for 5 years or less, or is probably doing less than $500,000 in revenue. And, if you fall under those 2 categories, it's going to be a really good course because you're going to be able to leave there. And like I said, you're going to know the framework of the company that you need to have. You're going to know how to effectively recruit, interview, hire, onboard, and you're going to know how to sell.
Right. So, I mean, I would think that if you're pivoting out of being a tool monkey into starting a business, I feel like this would be a good course to go through before you ever even went and got your business license or your contractor's license. Like, stay working in the trade, but having all of that information available at your fingertips that's comprehensible, and then hitting the ground running like that. I mean, dude, I would have fucking killed for something like that when we started. I'm just like, I don't know what we're doing. I have no fucking idea.
Well, I know for a fact the first month is going to be Business 101. It's going to be very, very similar to the webinar that I'm going to do, but we're going to go through. The webinar is not going to be as detailed, but the first month of the course, you're going to build a business plan.
Gotcha.
You're going to build, if you don't have a business, you're going to build a financial plan on projections, and you're going to build a market plan, not a marketing plan, but a market plan is in identifying what do you want to be known for, and what is your plan to go get that market. So you think about when we started working together, coaching wise. The first thing I had you guys do, business plan, market plan, financial plan.
Yeah, those look a lot different nowadays than they did back then. That's for sure.
Absolutely. If you're starting a business and you need startup capital, I don't care if you go to a bank or a board of investors, you got to have a business plan.
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah, that information is definitely going to be, like I said, probably less than 5 years or under $500,000 in revenue. It'll be a really good 6-month course.
Fuck yeah.
So,
well, I'm excited to see what it looks like.
Me too. Because I have 6, I had these 6 bullet points that I just walked through, and now I have to build the curriculum for it. I have to structure the curriculum. It's all up here.
Right.
It's all on this podcast. It's all things I talk about in the coaching. a lot of it is micro doses in the toolbox. It all exists already.
Right.
I'm just trying to reorganize it now and structure it in a way that's kind of fast-paced but digestible, and digestible in a way that you can take it and immediately implement.
Right. Yeah, especially if you're making it that digestible where it's palpable for beginners, right? Somebody just starting out. I mean, nobody knows what the fuck they're doing coming out the gates, And that was like, I learned that in day like 6 of owning a business. They're like, well, where's your EIN? And I'm like, what the fuck is an EIN? They're like, maybe you're going to use the other guy. I'm like, fuck.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot. The other thing that I am planning on is during that month, there's going to be a guest on the one of the webinars that really knows more about that topic than me. So I'm going to recruit people to kind of guest speak in these webinars.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Again, accessibility, exposure. Nobody wants to listen to me talk for 6 months.
Right.
I mean, let's face it.
I got a hard enough time sitting here for an hour.
I can tell by the look in your face.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, I don't know. I just want to be able to construct something that allows people to come together, grow themselves, their business, develop the value in them, and give them the confidence to wake up, step into their role, and be excellent at it. There's a lot about business that is terrifying.
It's only terrifying because it's the unknown. You have no idea what you're, because I tried to do like a little bit of research myself on like starting a business and everything. There is way too much fucking information out there on that shit.
Absolutely.
And starting a fucking bakery as opposed to starting a structural steel shop. Are they both a business? Yes. Are there different routes you got to go about it? Yes. So that there's not much out there. I didn't find much out there as far as like a launching off point for a business in the trades, that could be different now. I mean, we've been doing this for 6 years now, but, we don't know what the fuck we're doing, and then when you go to look for the information, you're bombarded with so much of it and all of it is contradicting.
Right.
So to have it all wrapped up into one place where you're like, okay, we can show you examples of places that this has worked in the trades. We can show you different companies where this works. At least you can start here and then make it your own.
Right. I had my company so I came on board in December of 2013. I could walk over right now and pull out the notebook where I wrote my first business plan in 2016 because it was the first thing that my mentor had me do. And he was the one that taught me how to write a business plan. And I have it to this day.
Yeah.
It's the first business plan I ever wrote.
And framed it up on the wall or something?
We were 3 years in business, just like you're saying.
Right.
You guys were 2 or 3 years in, and then, you started that as well. So just because you didn't begin with it doesn't mean that you're going to fail. You're going to learn a lot in those couple years.
Right.
And now you have the ability to take that information, marry it with structure, and implement it and generate a better result quicker.
Yeah. Well, you kind of need those shit sandwiches on day one,
I agree.
Yeah.
Completely agree. I think it's kind of like we grew up bow hunting. Illinois is a big whitetail country. You kill a monster buck your first year, really sets you up for failure.
I know, over after that, man.
Your expectations are unrealistic. And then when you go year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, and you don't kill one as big or bigger, it really kind of changes your perception.
Right.
So you got to earn it.
Yeah. Right.
And, having those shit sandwiches and spending hours in the stand and scouting and learning your craft, honing your craft, it's absolutely necessary. And on social media, I follow a lot of people that are, either coaches or highly successful business owners. I don't really get wrapped up in the people that go on there and talk about man, if you're not making $500,000 a year, like you should be embarrassed as a man. And I can't remember.
It was Grant Cardone, but I actually went back and listened to that whole thing.
Yeah.
And he was talking to a group of very wealthy insurance guys that are all like, he was talking to a very specific audience. And then, of course, it got clipped out and they ran him through the mud on it. And it's just like,
yeah.
Okay. In that instance, yes. With the availability of what that market was providing, it's like you should be making $400,000 a year.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what do I think? I think that you should strive to make $100,000 a year. You know, if you're a small business owner in the trades, I know what that can do for you. You know, if you can bring home $10,000, you know, $8,000 to $10,000 a month revenue, I think that's an excellent place to be, because that was my experience. My experience in the HVAC industry was starting out in 2001 at $7 an hour as a maintenance technician to, I think my highest year was $115,000. And I know when I crossed that threshold of 100, and I had made that before when I was doing sales, but I know what that 100,000 a year does, and it's very attainable.
Right.
You know, $500,000 a year. You need to have a, you know, $10 million business.
Yeah, right.
With an effective operating team. But as a small business owner, you know, working to get to that $100,000 income mark.
Right.
In total income, it doesn't have to be just dollar. You can have your truck, you can have your phone, you can have your fuel, you can have expenses. You know, where your total take-home package, you know, is $100K.
Right.
It really offers you some freedom, and it rewards you for the work that you've done. Does that mean if you're not making $100K, I think that you're failing? No, absolutely not.
Right.
I made that 1 year in 5, you know, because I had someone stealing all of the money out of my company. But you know, but when I went into that company, my agreement, I said, my salary is $52,000. I want $1,000 a week salary. I knew for me, I could make that financial lateral and down move, because I was going from about $96K a year to $52. But I had been very strategic about it. And so I knew what I could afford to do. And I worked my way up to 80. And when I got to 80, that fall, I lost a $750,000 contract overnight and laid off 50% of my team. The day I laid off 50% of my team, I took a 50% pay cut. So I went from 80 to 40, and I didn't take my payback until I had everybody on my team back. Then I took my payback, and then when we started rolling, then I bumped it to 100.
Right.
My partner did not do any of that. And
stand up, dude.
His income was 6 figures a year from day one. But whatever.
Neither here nor there.
My moral compass points in a different direction.
God, could you imagine if you're still there?
One of us would be murdered. That's what you mean. You know, but you know, and I you know, me getting to 100 was because I realized that I had to take from my company, not just receive, because I saw the iceberg dead ahead. I wanted all of my technicians and everybody in my company to be at a minimum operating point, just like what you and Matt did with the team. Yeah. You wanted your guys to be tooled up, geared up, and paid. And that was my plan. You know, and then I didn't have control of that plan, so I knew for me financially to be strategic about my exit, I had to get as much money as I possibly could. Yeah. And that was why my focus kind of shifted, and I'm like, okay, you know what? You're getting this much money. This is how much money that I'm going to get. But that wasn't my plan. My plan was to equip everybody with comfortable lifestyles, you know, a good wage, performance-based compensation, and, you know, opportunity to make money. And then once I had that in place, then I knew that my reward my ability to receive that money was there.
Right.
So yeah, but I think $100,000 personal income is a really, really great goal for small business owners, single owner operators. Again, especially in the trades. We're not talking about insurance, not talking about banking and these other industries. In the skilled trades where you're going out and you're performing a service and you're doing hands-on work, and that 100K again, for me and what I experienced, it just offers you a lot.
And breathing room,
It does.
Yeah.
As long as you're financially literate and you have a budget and you know what you're doing.
Well, it's like when these guys that they go out there and they're trying to find the cheapest fucking labor possible. They're making 20-30% off of everything that they're doing, and they're paying their guys fucking $12 an hour. And it's like, that to be in these trades and do this line of work and to live paycheck to paycheck, especially around here, we live 4 hours away from the highest paid union workers in the country. The iron workers and pipe fitters and stuff over in San Francisco are the highest paid tradesmen in the country.
Interesting.
And, we're 4 hours away from that. You think that money doesn't bleed over here? And then you're out there paying your guys $12 fucking an hour.
Right.
Like, are there $12 an hour people? That, in my opinion, no. They shouldn't be in our shop. If their worth is only $12,
right,
we don't have the time or the patience for them. Everybody starts at a minimum of 20 with us, but they're usually 22 to 23. If they can get in there and they can fucking weld and grind and blend and do all the things we need them to do, we'll start them out there and then work them through the ringer. But
we work in the skilled trades.
Right, yeah. You got to bring some value to the table.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're talking about tonight, just to kind of intro tonight's topic because I want to keep going with it. But, when you're working in the skilled trades, there has to be value. So when you hire someone or when you go to work for someone, because I want to table this conversation from both sides, you're entering an agreement. So if I come to work for you, we go through the hiring or the interview processes, we go through the onboarding process, and there's something that follows the onboarding process, and we're gonna jump into that tonight too. But when we do that, we're entering an agreement, and what that agreement really says is that here is my role. Here, I'm going to kick the shit out of this dead horse, Nate. Here's my responsibilities. Here are my expectations as an operator. Here are my minimum skill set requirements. And here is the compensation available measured off of the value that I bring. That's the agreement.
Right.
That's our starting agreement. Okay.
That's exactly what that should be. That's baseline. Right. I mean, that's where you build off of. And I think there's a lot of outfits too that they'll leave people in those positions where, they kind of give somebody a direction that they can go in to make more money, but never really get there for some reason. You know, I've seen it happen over and over again. And it's one thing if you're communicating with that person, like, hey, the reason why we're not paying you more money right now is because you haven't met this expectation or this expectation, right? This should all be clear cut. But it's like guys will get in there, promise these guys, well, just, give us this much time and we'll start making, you'll start making more money and blah, blah, blah. And then the day just never fucking comes, right?
Yeah. There does need to be clear communication, but that clear communication must come from something. And that has to come from the clear expectations that were set. But it's also the responsibility for the other person to not say, okay, hey, I want a pay raise. It's their responsibility to say, how can I get a pay raise?
Right.
Right. So let's talk about negotiating pay raise. If I'm going to come to you and I want to make more money, okay, again, baseline, roles, responsibilities, expectations, minimum skill set requirement, and compensation. I know where I'm at.
Yeah.
I want to come to you and say, Nate, I'm interested in making more money, but I'm more interested in knowing what opportunities do I have in the company, what skills or talents do I need to acquire, and what does that reward or compensation look like for those things?
Right. Well, but I mean, I guess so with us, it might be a lot different than other places. You know that day one from us. Mm-hmm. You know exactly what you have to do to get more money. And there is a cap in the shop and there is a cap in the field unless you step into a leadership position. Then there's more money to be made there. But we do offer up stuff for like weekend work. And if you're going to come in, you know, some of the jobs will do cash for them, you know, mm-hmm. like, hey, if you want to come in and handle this, you know, and you got to be one of our journeymen for it. We got to trust you. But it's like, hey, if you want to come in and do this on Friday or Saturday off the clock, mm-hmm. just charge $100 an hour and it's yours.
Right.
You know, make sure you're charging accordingly, but like stuff like that, but you have to earn that place, mm-hmm. you know, like that's usually reserved for like leadership or journeymen that have been there for a long time.
You can't have your $20 an hour greenhorn coming in on a Friday and charging $100 an hour for work.
Yeah. Fucking our shit up too. Yeah.
Because they don't have the value mm-hmm. for $100 an hour. They don't have the skill set.
Well, and there's not going to be anybody there to hold your fucking hand through it either. Right. So if you get yourself into a situation where you can't back yourself out of it, mm-hmm. and then you want to call me for help, I'm sorry, man. Right. I'm on my motorcycle. I didn't even see my phone ringing.
Something you said that's really important to understand when negotiating, I'm using air quotes, for a pay increase, is that every industry in every location in every position has a cap. Mm-hmm. What's available in the Midwest will not work here.
No, well,
you know, so my buddy Garrett, who's in Northern Kentucky, the pay structure, the compensation packages that is that's valuable in that area, mm-hmm. it has to be valuable to that area.
Right.
His pay structure is significantly different than Battleborn Welding's.
I mean, because if he were to try and pay his guys what we pay our guys, I mean, he'd never get a fucking job.
Exactly, because he's going to be priced out of the market.
Right.
So you have to understand, okay, demographically, again, industry, what is that cap? Because once you start to exceed that cap, what you're really doing is you're hurting yourself in the future because you're pricing yourself out of the industry. So if that company goes under or you have a falling out or you leave, no one else is going to pay you that because you have exceeded mm-hmm. the industry cap for that area.
Right.
So recognize. So if, again, to use the example, if I am a journeyman and I am at that cap and I come to you and I say the same thing, Nate, I'm interested in making more money here. What opportunities are available mm-hmm. for me to make more money? And we can discuss that. That's where you start looking at performance-based compensation. That's mm-hmm. where you start looking at piecework, mm-hmm. right? Maybe changing the structure of your pay rate. Because if you're capped out as a journeyman, then you know I'm fully capable of doing piecework.
Right.
So, okay, because again, why? Because I have the skill set. Mm-hmm. I understand the other three. Mm-hmm. Now compensation is, I'm not like, oh, okay, well, I'll go ahead and give you a $5 an hour raise, but don't tell anybody. Mm-hmm. No, your skill set, your ability to add value to this company, we can pay you piecework mm-hmm. because the company is going to make money. And the technician, the operator, is going to make mm-hmm. more money if they're that efficient.
Well, and also understand that there's a different level of accountability that comes along with piecework, too. You don't get paid to go back and fix shit. If it's got to be cut apart and repowder coated, that's on your fucking dime. You get mm-hmm. paid once for it. You know, that was a really cool thing about the pipeline game, dude. And it made us so accountable mm-hmm. to what we did because we didn't get paid to go back and fix shit. And while we're back there fixing it, somebody else is taking up that next joint. So it's like perfection and at lightning speed.
Right.
That was the strive, you know? And of course, every once in a while you have that one fuck up that just reminds you to get back on your fucking game, you know? And that's all it took. It wasn't, mm-hmm. there was nobody standing over us telling us, hey, you need to do mm-hmm. better. Hey, you can do better. You can go faster. It's like, no, my fucking paycheck was telling me that.
Yeah. I think there are right industries for piecework. Most industries are not going to be right for piecework.
Custom homes are not.
That's a great example.
Right.
That's a great example.
It's very skilled, very detailed. Mm-hmm. We don't want people rushing through that shit.
HVAC service technicians, not piecework. I think that there's an opportunity for piecework for the installers, or work plus performance-based God damn it. Sorry.
Easy.
The compensation, but there's a lot of industries where piecework isn't even an option. So it goes back to, okay, the real question is, how can I add more value? How can I become more valuable to the company? Because that's going to result in more compensation. Now, that compensation might be, you put me in a company truck.
You cover my cell phone.
Right.
The list is
you give me a fuel card.
Yeah.
There are options that you can create that promote opportunity within the company. Because the thing, let's face it, is the more money you pay people, the more payroll burden you have.
Yep.
Workman's comp goes up, payroll taxes go up, all the burden goes up as well.
Yes, you might as well be giving them the kickbacks on a pre-tax level, I don't think a lot of people look at it that way, but you got to understand that compensation that they're providing means that you're not getting taxed on that money before you go spend it. This is operating expense, right?
Yep.
So that's definitely I wish people understood the value of that, as opposed to getting a couple of $1 an hour raise if you got a fuel card instead. You're driving as much as we do. Like, dude, that's huge.
Yeah. So 50 cents an hour is $1,000 a year. Just to put it in perspective. If I'm making 50 grand a year, and there's an opportunity for me, if I say, hey, I want to get to 60 grand a year. All right. So based on 50 cents is a grand, right? So $1 is 2 grand. $5 is 10 grand. So that $5 to me is going to be an additional, probably a total of $8 of payroll burden to you. Or I have a company vehicle.
Right. We're taking some sort of bill off your plate for you.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, this can work in small business. If you've got a team of 30.
Yeah, don't ask corporate America for this shit. They're going to tell you to get fucked.
Right.
Yeah.
But my point is, the real question is, how can I become more valuable? And then what does that reward look like?
Right.
And how can we structure that where it still falls in the parameters of the business, where if Matt is over here and he's making $20 an hour, you're not taking away from him to give to me. You're creating opportunity for everyone, but I'm fulfilling it.
Right. You're like, hey, dude, you could have done the thing. As long as you created more revenue, fuck yeah, why would we not kick you down more? Right.
So I think because people get so wrapped up in this chasing the dollar, and that's something you and I have not talked about in quite some time, but people get wrapped up in chasing the dollar. $1 an hour is $2,000 a year.
You're not even going to notice that on your paycheck every week.
Right. It's $40 a week before taxes.
Case of beer.
Right. Just don't buy Bud Light.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Like that number is so, and this is something that I'm going to be honest with you. This is something that I wish I better understood when I had my company. As we've talked about, I didn't have any control of the money, but I wish I better understood this, because it would have allowed me to create better opportunity for my team.
To do more for them, yeah.
And that's the thing you have to remember as a leader. All right, now we're on the other side of the table. Your job as a leader one of your jobs is to create opportunity. Whether that is versatility, whether it's training, whether it's compensation and reward like we're discussing tonight, whether it's growth, your job as a leader is to provide opportunity. And that's kind of like, even if it's opportunity, again, to take 2 weeks of vacation or 3 weeks of vacation, whether it's an opportunity to have a company truck, you've got to create opportunity. And you can be creative as you want, right? So one of the things in the HVAC industry that, again, this is something I was pushing for, was my top service tech. So if you were topped out as a service technician, I wanted them to have the ability to sell either on a service call, or let's say that I came out to your house, you had a bad compressor, you're going to need a new system. You already trust me. If I've went through what I go through as a technician to build trust and rapport with clients, you're going to trust me. There's a part of you that really doesn't care if I send a sales guy out to talk to you about replacing your system. You would really rather just deal with me directly and continue to have that relationship with me. So I wanted my service guys to have the ability, again, topped out service guys. This isn't for the $12 an hour guy.
This is a guy that knows the system that he's selling.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I was working to try it with my top tech. And I told him, I said, look, if you're on a sales call or a service call and they need a system and you want to sell it, you can either, if you have the opportunity to sell it there, great. If you need to set a sales call and go back, set a call. And I don't care if you do it on Saturday. I'm going to pay you commission. I'm not going to pay you hourly to do the call.
Right.
But I'm going to pay you full sales commission, which I think was, at that time, was 4%. Okay.
I mean, those units can get pretty pricey.
You sell a $10,000 system, that's $400.
Yeah.
All right. So
not a bad phone call on a Saturday.
Right. So, you know, again, that's opportunity. That's, and by us doing that, I wasn't taking anything away from my sales guys.
Right.
You know, I wanted them selling $40,000 Geo systems anyway.
Yeah. I mean, if your service tech is out there outselling your sales team, you need to have a discussion with your sales team.
I need to reevaluate what the fuck I'm allowing to happen, you know, but the guy that I was, you know, having that conversation with, he was one of our most beloved technicians. Like everybody fucking loved that guy. I saw it as an opportunity for everyone to win.
Right.
They trust you. Let's do this.
Yeah, you sold the unit and you're getting paid to put it in?
Yeah, and they're happy.
Yeah.
Everybody wins.
Because you're going to pay that commission regardless.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what I could do is I could expedite a couple steps and not have to do the warm transfer with the sales team, but just create. And again, it was limiting to specifics. If it was just a fucking change out, right, then there was an opportunity for that. If we had to do utility company incentives, we couldn't do it. If we as a room addition, we couldn't do it. New construction, we couldn't do it. If they wanted to go from conventional to geothermal, we couldn't do it. But there was opportunity. Right.
Well, I mean, and you've got them headhunting in the places you want them headhunting at, right? I mean, that's the places you want them keeping tabs on it. You know, you got other people for other things like geothermal and stuff like that. Like,
that's right. Yeah. I mean, one of the sales guys he did probably 95% of our geo sales calls, and I did the other 5%. We didn't even let our other sales guy in the beginning. We didn't let him do that because the knowledge that you had to have far outweighed what he had to do conventional sales.
Right. Well, and you're going to end up losing on a sales call if you go throwing somebody out that doesn't understand those units, right?
Yeah. So, but that goes back to opportunity and everything that we listed out. He wants to make more money. He can get into the higher priced items. You know, you can sell a $6,000 AC or you can sell a $36,000 Geo. Well, it just a flat base commission.
Right.
You know, if you did 5% on 6,000, that's 300. If you did 5% on 40,000, that's $2,000. Right? That's opportunity.
Yeah.
But you have to meet these requirements. You have to be valuable. You have to add value. You have to have the skill set to be able to show up
and do the work. Yeah.
So it's really important because there's, especially in this current market, you and I were discussing it before recording. A technician, okay, it's a little different market for a business owner, but a technician can literally go to work anywhere right now.
Oh yeah. People are writing their own checks all over the place, you know. But also with that is coming people being way overzealous on what they think they're fucking worth.
Oh yeah.
Like I can go get a job anywhere for a week.
Yeah. Oh, I can make twice what I'm making.
If that was the case, you wouldn't be fucking sitting here.
Yeah. And if that's the case, it's not in the same arena.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, I know looking back now, I would have definitely spent more time as a commercial technician, as a residential technician,
mm-hmm.
because of the reward.
Right.
Reward was pretty great,
mm-hmm.
you know, and I knew some commercial techs. And then when you got up into industrial technicians, which are like professor wizards, I mean, crazy fucking shit, like 800-ton chillers in these huge industrial plants. And
mm-hmm. Well, we've had to go in and do all the RTU supports for those things. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you want me to put an I-beam in here? Like, what the fuck is going on the roof?
Yeah. Yeah, I was on top of a hospital one night in the fucking freezing rain and snow working on a unit that was almost the size of a semi-trailer.
Jesus Christ.
You know? But
mm-hmm.
you know how to work on that shit.
Right.
You're more valuable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're
and if you know how to work in all three arenas, you're really fucking valuable.
Really valuable.
Yeah.
Well, and that kind of sets you up for a technical leadership position.
Mm-hmm.
Right, having technicians, again, back to adding value. If you're in that position, and I'm so glad you brought that up. Let's say you've got a guy that's equipped in the arenas that I'm using as examples. You got commercial, you've got refrigeration, and you've got residential, and you've got this technician that's just a badass in all of them.
Mm-hmm.
How foolish of me would it be to not pay you to train my team?
Right. Yeah, why are we not leveling everybody up with that?
Why would you not pay that guy $50, $75, $100 an hour
mm-hmm.
to train?
For just like a seminar.
Do it a couple times a month.
Right.
Do training a couple times a month with your techs. Pay that person to train them.
Mm-hmm.
Again, opportunity.
Yeah.
For the value that you bring.
Mm-hmm. Well, for us, and like, we get this shit all the time. But some kid comes in and all he can do is MIG weld flat.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, dude, we don't have anything for you. Like, it'd be one thing if the kid just wanted to sweep floors or whatever, but
mm-hmm.
like.
Are you guys looking for somebody to sweep the floor?
Yeah, you looking for a job?
I am.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to reboot the rig this weekend.
There you go.
So, yeah.
But if you come in, you know how to MIG all positions, you know how to stick all positions, dual shield all positions, and if you can weld stainless and aluminum TIG,
mm-hmm.
it's like, okay, we definitely fucking have a place for you. And we don't let anybody walk in at full rate on either shop or rig, just because it's like, yeah, you might be able to do all these things and be really good at it, and our first meeting is really good, but then 2 weeks in, you turn into some pompous, arrogant fucking prick. And it's like, we're not forking out that much money just to find out you're a fucking asshole.
They have to be a cultural fit.
Yes.
Along with the technical ability.
Dude, not even a fit. You have to be an addition to our culture. Like, you don't get to come in and coattail on everybody else.
A cultural asset.
Yes, there we go. Look at us making up words.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Completely agree, because that's going to impact the value.
Yeah. You come in and start stirring the pot with all of our people. I mean, and we've told our guys over and over again, you guys don't want somebody here, especially our leadership, our shop
mm-hmm.
foreman and our field foreman. It's like, the day you say they're gone, they're fucking gone.
Mm-hmm.
I have no ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah.
Like you guys aren't going to jump the gun on something like that without trying to figure it out first.
Absolutely.
Especially if it's somebody that's worth a fuck, because we run you guys into the ground
mm-hmm.
as it is. So I'm sure you would love the relief,
Yeah. I had this conversation the other day, Tuesday morning. So yeah, yesterday morning. And we were kind of talking about that and building a culture where you empower your team to police one another.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I was telling them, I said, I had my install coordinator, Mama D was the service coordinator, and then I had top technicians in each one. On my installers, I had team leaders. My service guys, I had basically a team leader, a top tech. I said, by the time it hit my desk, I knew that it had been filtered
mm-hmm.
through the team, through their leader, through my department leader, and then it was getting to me,
mm-hmm.
which meant you were going to hate this fucking conversation.
Right.
Because I knew what it had been filtered through.
Mm-hmm.
And it was also brought to me by one of the team leaders.
Right.
And And the really cool thing was the reality is I only had to do that a few times. Like, I mean, a few times, single digit times.
Right.
Where something hit my desk and I either had to crawl down the throat of someone or fire them. It was very, very few times. But when it happened, it was going to be one of those two things. You were going to leave a different person, or you were going to leave looking for a different job.
Yeah, right.
You know, but I appreciated that as well. You know, and when the team would bring it to me, they would, just like you said, they would tell me, hey, he's not cutting it. He doesn't need to be here. Okay, I'll take care of it. I'm not going to negotiate.
Dude, and it makes my job so easy, you know.
And the leadership equity that you gain with your leaders when you have their back and make the hard decision.
Right.
Then, you know, they know that you trust them.
Yeah. Well, because Matt and I were sitting in the office and two leaders come in. They're like, hey, this old boy, we're fucking done. Matt and I just looked at each other and said, okay, send him in. I'm over there writing his checkout before he ever even gets inside the office. And it's like, hey, dude, team says you're done. You're done. Yep. I don't feel bad about that at all. And I know that they gave you every opportunity that they could, you know, and trusting your people enough to do that kind of shit, you know, like that matters a lot to us.
Leaders aren't narcs.
Right.
You know, they are going to try to solve that problem multiple different ways until they feel where they're really out of emotional currency.
Right.
For the situation and for the individual. So then they just need to, you know, a lot of companies, it's like shit runs downhill. Shit should go uphill.
It should go uphill. Yeah. Well, the cool part about our dynamic too is that one of our leaders is very high strung and very intense, and one of them's pretty laid back. So if they both come in and they're like, hey, we're fucking done. It's like, well, I know you've checked you and you've checked you. And okay, cool. Like, you know, they're opposites.
Completely. Complete opposites.
Yeah.
People don't know how opposite they are. They are.
Yeah.
If they were opposite gender, that's the only way they would be more opposite.
Yeah, right.
They are completely.
Yeah. But they got their own tactics, and like, you know, our field guy, you know, Nick, like he brings intensity, but dude, you need intensity out in the field. You know, we're been, you know, Grant's a little more laid back, but he's doing very high detailed precision work, and it's more about doing it right and getting down to the 16th of an inch, and you know, getting
your blends are right. There's no
spatter.
That's right.
This thing's going to look tits when it comes out of powder coat. So, you know, their jobs fit their personalities very well, you know. And the best part is we can throw either one of them into the other one. But it's like you're going to take the lead of the other guy, right?
Yeah. They complement each other well, too.
Yeah.
And that's important with leaders. You know, when I look at my leadership, I had, you know, Mama D and AA Ron. And they complemented each other very well because AA Ron never really got spun up about something. He got frustrated at me one time, and I'll tell that story in a second. But, you know, Mama D was so high detailed that she was a bit rigid and demanding, even with me. I mean, my title didn't mean shit to our relationship, but I loved that about her. I respected that about her. And they worked phenomenal together. You know, so their positions and their personalities complemented each other very well. So here's a quick story about AA Ron. This is really the only time he kind of got on to me. He called me on a Thursday, and he said, hey, I have 2 installers in my shop right now that are hungover. This whole Wednesday night at Buffalo Wild Wings shit is fucking up my schedule. I said, okay.
Oh, were you going out drinking with them?
Oh, dude, we went out every Wednesday night. So
on a Wednesday?
So
Jesus.
What we did is I didn't cancel it, but I was like, hey, guys, no more getting drunk. We can go out and we can have a couple drinks. We can eat some food. We can laugh and we have a good time. Nobody leaves the table drunk again. And everybody was like, yeah. We
were kind of getting tired of it too.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But he had the confidence to call me and call me on my bullshit.
Yeah. Good.
You know, because I was there. I was the ringleader of this circus. I was there drinking. and encouraging, and like it was me that was causing it. And so he came right to the fucking problem.
Yeah, it's okay when the boss says it's okay.
Yeah. No, it's not.
No, it's not. You're still a piece of shit at work the next day.
Yeah. So, I definitely respected that, about my team and about, AA running this story is they never feared for their job in telling me the truth. And that's cultural, man.
Yeah.
That's cultural. And when you invest in people and you build that equity and build value, right? That's what you get.
And that's what you fucking want.
Oh,
like,
man.
I couldn't fathom being in that position. Like, how dare you question me? I'd be like, hey, okay, well, if you're going to call me out on this, like, look, here's the reason why we would do this. Or, you're right, I was being a piece of shit. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just having a moment. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah. And also in AA Ron's defense, that wasn't the first time it happened. So not that it happened like consecutive weeks, but, the second or third time, whatever it was, and over several months, he was like, hey, no more.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got it.
Yeah.
Yes, boss.
Good call.
Yeah.
The other thing that I had one time was I had several of my guys actually call me up on this, and I didn't even know this had went on, but there were a lot of days during the week where the team would hang out and maybe have a beer or two, which I encouraged. Good camaraderie. Everybody kind of winds down. They don't drag that shit home, and it's good. What I failed to recognize is one specific night, I was dispatching one of my install teams from home, which was rare. It probably happened 3 times a year.
Right.
Well, one of my installers had 2 or 3 beers and then climbed in our
company truck
and drove it an hour home. And it didn't set well with several of my team leaders.
Yeah.
So they called me. I think one of them called me that day. And then over the next couple of days, I think I had 3 people from the team go, this is what happened, and we don't agree with it. And so we joked, we call it the Flam Law, because this kid, his last name was Flam. Great dude. Fucking bull in a china shop. But you want to talk about a get shit done motherfucker. Like, this dude would do whatever. Like, he would get it done. So the next meeting, again, I was like, okay, we have to add a new company rule. And I said, if you're going to drink, you can't drive a company vehicle.
Right.
So my service techs, a lot of my tech, the service tech drove trucks home. You definitely drove it home if you were on call that night.
Right.
Okay, here's the rule. If you're going to drive a company truck home, you can't drink. Guess who else that rule was for?
You? Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
Why am I different? Why am I an exception to that rule?
Right.
I will tell you my partner didn't like it.
Well, there's a lot of shit he didn't like.
But I knew that I had to uphold that rule as well.
Well, but for us, because I've dispatched a guy out to go do a job when he had had a couple of beers. It was emergency work on a Saturday. These people called panicked. I think we were doing an equipment repair or something. And it was, 11 or 12, in the morning. And called up a guy. I'm like, hey, the one guy I know that'll answer his phone and he'll go do it. I was like, hey, dude, we got this repair. Can you go handle that? And he's like, yeah, I'll go take care of it. Yeah, granted, he's driving his own truck, but we're billing the client.
Right.
So, and then afterwards he gets done and he's like, yeah, dude, I had a couple beers before he called. I'm like, yeah, let's not fucking do that.
Like, that piece of information out.
Send you out into the fucking field with power tools and heavy machinery.
With your company.
With our company name attached to this, Now,
he doesn't have a logo truck. I
no, he doesn't.
But still, he's on the clock.
Yeah, but because... And it wasn't anything malicious on his end. He was just like stoked. He was like, yeah, whatever. Fuck you. I'll go make a couple bucks.
Right.
But I think with a lot of us, especially being in the trades, we do a lot of work while we're drinking beer. If we're working on our own shit, if it's Saturday, cleaning out the garage or wrenching on something and we're having a beer, probably didn't think about it.
Right.
Until it was all said and done with. And it's like, oh, fuck. Damn. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I should be doing that.
Right. Yeah.
So...
There's an evolution in business. And the skilled trades are, they're on the back end of everything because we kind of get ignored. We always get brushed to the side, right? And part of that evolution is increasing the standard. Mm-hmm. And also increasing the value.
Right.
The value of the people, the value of yourself. And recognizing that the behaviors like you and I are discussing, which we're both guilty of, mm-hmm. that has to be part of that evolution.
Right. Well, yeah, just recognizing it. And adjusting from
mm-hmm.
it. You can't just recognize and go, oh, yeah, no, I drink when I drive my company truck.
Yeah.
Huh,
yeah.
Would you look at that?
Yeah, there's a 6-pack in my lunchbox.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Especially on the pipeline days, man. The shit I watched some of these guys fucking do, where it would literally, they're rolling their leads up and like rolling up their leads with one hand so they can open up their cooler to get their first beer out. And it's like, dude, we got a 45-minute drive home. He's like, yeah, I know. I got 8. I'm like, beers?
Not what I meant.
He's like, yeah. I'm like, I wasn't worried about your sobriety level when you got home. Like,
I wasn't worried about you running out.
Yeah, the fact you can't wait 45 more minutes to get home. Like, what the fuck?
Didn't understand the question at all.
Yeah, the pills were a big problem on that one. Guys, I watched guys lose everything with the pills. Because you can sit there and weld forever on pills, like you don't cramp up, you don't get hurt, and you can stay kind of steady. But dude, guys were going across the border into Mexico and buying them by Norcos by the 1,000.
Oh, I've never experienced any of that. I've never experienced any different types of pills other than like Aleve.
Yeah. So you're so old.
Yeah. Dude, I know.
Is that part of your daily regimen, Josh? For your arthritis? Yeah. But no, I mean, and most of them got turned out that way. I mean, like I said, the road was lonely, mm-hmm. So like guys were kind of running from shit like that to begin with.
Right.
But, if you could pull an 18-hour shift and just kind of coast your way through it and you didn't end up, no back pain, no muscle aches, none of that shit. But you start building up a tolerance to it. And now all you're doing is working for fucking money to go buy pills.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you made 10 grand last week. Where's that at? It's in Tijuana. Like, oh.
I recognize that had I started drinking earlier in life, I would have absolutely depended on that coming up through the trades, especially in the HVAC industry, because I got in the HVAC industry when I was 20. Mm-hmm. I would have definitely drank probably every day. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I knew guys that did drink every day. And being in that industry and a service tech, the service tech, it's a mental strain. In installers, it's mental, but it's a lot of physical too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could definitely see where you get home, I just need a fucking beer, or I need a whiskey, or I need something. And I recognize that I would have very much been codependent on those influencing habits.
Right. Well, especially when everybody's doing it, you know, kind of thing. It's easy to get roped into. But honestly, being a pipeliner kept me from being a full-blown alcoholic, like knowing I had to get up the next morning and go out in 120-degree heat. I ain't fucking drinking the night before that, and you just worked an 18-hour shift, so you don't need the alcohol to put you to sleep. You're going fucking down, bud.
Yeah. I started drinking when I was 34, 35.
Damn, you've been at it for what, 30 years now?
I get in there. Yeah. And I recognize that I'm a borderline mutant because I operate like completely opposite of how everybody else operates when they drink. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know what it is or why, but I definitely have this weird mutation where like alcohol, like I can do a lot of things better.
Right. Well, at least you think you can.
There's a lot of things I can do better.
I've seen you dance, Josh. Not everything.
I am an amazing dancer. Yeah.
Only when your partner's a blue hair.
Do you see this ass? I'm gonna pop this ass right here.
It's already been popped, Josh. Long ago.
Yeah, it's just the top of my legs. There's nothing there. I'm lying. But oh shit. But anyway, so to kind of bring this full circle and close it up, recognize where and how you can add value and become more valuable. You'll be rewarded for it. And then if you are the owner, you feel free to be creative on how you reward people. Because you don't want to train your people to chase the dollar. Right. You want to teach and coach and lead your people to be more valuable. Mm-hmm. And then your job as a leader is creating that opportunity and then rewarding them for seizing that opportunity, capitalizing on it, and executing it with excellence.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what did we call it earlier? That word we made up. What was it?
Oh, something asset, cultural asset.
Cultural asset.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we're going to name the.
All right,
we're going to name this episode cultural asset. Hang on, I'm going to
write that down. You forget that in a heartbeat.
CUNT.
Wait, what?
Oh shit! You ready to get out of here?
Yeah, I need to eat.
Did you get any hate mail from the last one?
No.
We encourage people to send you hate messages.
Yeah, I know. Fucking pussies.
You're so toxic.
Yep.
You can find Nate on Instagram at NateNewton87. I am on Instagram at The Tradesman Experience. Email is thetradesmanexperience@gmail.com. Website's thetradesmanexperience.com. And the YouTube channel is The Tradesman Experience. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. Get out there and get shit done. Be proud to be a tradesman. See ya.